Hi, I'm Rose from the Redeemed Roadrunners RV channel, but I'm doing Sunday snippets on Sundays. So if you've been following me for the last couple of snippets that I've done, welcome. If not, know that I'll be doing these every Sunday, a snippet from God's bigger work, the Bible. Today we're going to concentrate on Good Friday, and I will be posting this on Good Friday. Today, Jesus would die on the cross. But why is it called Good Friday? Historically, back in the day, good meant holy or sacred, similar to calling the Bible the good book. It was also good because it was a good day for mankind. He actually took on the sins of all mankind upon himself and nailed them to the cross. So who killed him? Some say the Jews, some say the Romans, but in reality, no one killed him. John 10:18 quotes Jesus himself as saying, "No one takes his life, from me, but I lay it down of myself." You see, he could have stopped the crucifixion at any time, but he didn't, because he loved us so much. He knew ahead of time the things that he would suffer. I'm sure he experienced human pain while he was on this earth because he was the son of a carpenter. At Gethsemane, just before his arrest, he prayed to God. He was in deep anguish over the crucifixion that was about to come. He knew exactly what he was going to have to be going through. And when he was praying, he actually sweat like drops of blood. He was so distressed over this. And this is actually a rare phenomenon, hematidrosis, where blood mixes with sweat and oozes from the skin. It's caused by extreme emotional stress. He asked God, "Please remove this cup of suffering from me, if you are willing." But the Father was not willing. Jesus had to suffer and die. The paintings and pictures of the crucifixion are so utterly deceptive. They are so far removed from the truth. Let me describe the reality of this. Prior to the cross, he was mocked and struck in the face. He was blindfolded and beaten and spit upon. They pulled his beard out. Men, that's painful. Then they placed a crown of thorns on his head. These weren't just little thorns like on a rose bush or something. These were about 2 inches long, and they're very strong, and they're very sharp. I have seen one of those bushes before. They're nothing to joke about. So they put this crown of thorns on their head, and they even took a rod so they would jam it down in his skull. Then he was mocked again, having a purple robe put on him, because the whole thing up to this point was they were mocking him because he was calling himself a king, or he claimed to be king, and they called him the King of the Jews. And then the real torture started. He was whipped 39 times, because it said that 40 lashes with the whips that they used back then would kill a man. It wasn't just a plain whip like you'd see in a Western or something. This whip was called a flagrum. It was a short handle, and it had several leather straps coming out from them. And at the end of each strap was a metal weight, a metal ball with weight in it. And it was embedded with metal, nails, and sharp bone shards. Often they also would put a hook in there. And I'm sure his had it because they were in full force to torture him as much as they could. When this weight hit the body, when they threw that whip at a body, when it hit the body, it didn't just bounce off. It dug in. It dug into the body. And then they would lift up that whip in a way to make that thing rip off as much skin as it could possibly rip off. And it would leave the skin dangling like ribbons, exposing the bloody mass of muscle, bone, tissues, and sometimes even internal organs. The loss of blood had to be immense. It would cause dehydration. It's a wonder he was still conscious at the end of that scourging. So here's another picture of what we see today, him carrying his cross to Golgotha. This first one with the Romans just makes me laugh. The second one, when the man helped him pick up his cross and carried it for him. Can you imagine 39 lashes with that flagrum, and his skin was just hanging off of him? Blood loss was immense. I don't think he would be standing and carrying his cross like this. And besides that, he didn't carry the whole cross anyway. He carried just the crossbeam. They get up to Golgotha, and the crossbeam is placed on the long board. They didn't force him down on that cross. He willingly lay down on those beams to allow 5 to 7 inch nails to be driven into his hands and his feet. Another misnomer is that he had nails driven into the palm of his hands. They say that that would not have held him. It would have just ripped right out through one of the fingers. The wrist is where they believe that the nails were driven, between the radius and the ulna bones. That would hold him up, and if it was driven directly into the median nerve, there would be maximum strength, maximum pain, and more blood loss. At the cross, John 19:23 tells us that the soldiers took all of his garments. So he was most probably naked. That was part of the shame that and humiliation that they would heap upon someone, especially with the modesty of the Jewish customs. Now I want you to think about what he just went through. And then I want to read this to you from Isaiah. Isaiah 52 tells us that people were appalled to look at him, that his appearance was so disfigured beyond that of any human being, and his form marred beyond human likeness. And Psalms 22:14 says, I am poured out like water. All my bones are out of joint. My heart has turned to wax. It has melted within me. My friends, that is not these pictures that we see. Even the one that has more blood coming down, it's nowhere near. Think about it again now. The scourging, pulling off 39 strips, maybe more, of his flesh were hanging down. His insides bare open to everybody. Think of the blood loss. It wasn't just trickling down his body. He had probably lost most of his blood. The visual picture that we have from reading scripture depicts extreme torture and excruciating pain. By the way, excruciating means to crucify. Did you know that? When I learned that, I have not used that term since, because I'm just as guilty as anybody else saying this pain is excruciating that I'm having. If excruciating meant the crucifixion, crucify like Jesus was, no, I cannot use that term. So next time you use it, stop and think about it. May we never forget the sacrifice that God gave to us. All he wants in return is your heart and to become his. Jesus endured excruciating pain, folks. He suffered through all of this for you. It was a good day for mankind because he willingly chose to go through all this because he loves you. But it's not the end. You'll see. Sunday's coming.